Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans. Another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. Come to you live each weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. Got a panel of people from gunchannels.com joining us each night, and we got people from all over the country. Let's see, we've got Al jumping in from Texas. Thanks for joining. Muted, coming in, getting something to drink. Then we got Roosted jumping in from Minnesota. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invite, G. Hi, everybody.
Let's see, we got another aviary represented with Gary from Kansas. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invite.
They both could probably nest in woods from Pacific Northwest, Washington State. Thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for the invite, G.
We're missing Snob in Oklahoma. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And there's some links out there to others that are green or maybe translucent. We just had a show earlier, but then some other people. There's links out on the Gun Channel side, of course, and we'll drop the link for people who might be watching this on a platform that probably doesn't care about guns or our community, our culture, our laws, our freedoms. But it's Friday, so normally on Fridays we talk about the industry, we talk about tech, and we try to make this an interactive conversation. So we're going to be watching the comments from the Gun Channel side. There's a text chat over there, and we'll be watching. We got a bunch of people in there. Ohio's over there. Cycle Camp's out there. Looks like I need to send some more links out, huh? So while I'm doing that, why don't you guys, what are we chatting tonight about? I don't really have any topics other than tech or industry. Dead air? No, dead air is an option, but I'd rather go with something that makes
I was up at a manufacturing plant in Minnesota here that does AR stuff, all in-house on multi-million-dollar machining equipment.
In Minnesota?
Yes, sir.
Right on.
It's up in North Branch. The name of it's Soda Arms. It's state of the art is what SOTA stands for. Pretty cool.
SOTA or
correct. SOTA, like the end of Minnesota.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. I've been up there a couple of times. Real good people.
I'm sorry, I missed it. What do they make there again?
Everything and anything for an AR.
I mean, if it was Soda Arms, SODA, they could be the pop can launcher ones, but you know.
Is it pretty good stuff? Or I mean, I've never heard of it, but that doesn't mean it's not great.
Yeah, I like it. I've been pretty impressed by it. I just picked up some lowers from them today. So start an AR build.
I've been thinking about getting Aero Precision one just because it's here in Tacoma. I didn't even realize it was in Tacoma until Dead Horse told me that.
Yeah, it's always nice to pick that stuff up.
Is there an AR manufacturer in each state? At least a lower manufacturer in each state?
I have no idea. Does anybody
That'd
know?
Be worth finding out. Who's somebody was doing a project like that where they were trying to build an AR from every state.
Big Gunner does a show on Tuesday nights
on
channels, but I don't think he ever found a receiver from every state. But I don't know if he's the ultimate. He's just one guy doing one project. I don't know if he's had a chance even to discover if there is an AR. What does it take to make a lower? Really, there could easily be one in each state. There's got to be machine shops in every state, right?
Do they have to? I'm assuming they have to have very specialized machinery for that.
No. Any mill, right, can make an AR lower. At least anything be competent could.
So it's easier than like somebody like me would think in the first place.
I guess if you think it's difficult, yeah, I mean, it's just to be some aluminum, literally with a bunch of holes and stuff removed from it. It's nothing complicated. Building it to spec isn't difficult, right?
Yeah, especially with technology. I mean, like in the 80s, it would be harder in the 90s, but nowadays, I mean, you with all the 3D everything and all the computers we have, it would seem like it would be much less hard to machine things out.
Well, I just Googled AR lowers made in Oklahoma, and I was shocked. I did not know Rise Armaments made in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I had no clue.
Yeah. The guy that did the engraving of the gun channels coins is Etched Ordnance, and he works with them. Broken Arrow. I call it Tulsa, but it's Broken Arrow.
Yeah. I had no clue.
Well, you know what? I need to take a second here and remind people that might be or that are watching that might not be familiar. It is Free Patch Friday, and one of the ways we raise funds for the projects that we do online is with sales over the Gear website store. So each Friday, every order that goes out with no coupons or no codes or no minimum orders or anything, everything that you order is going to have a free patch with it. And today, in order to encourage some sales, we've got this kind of pile of loot going out. We just described it over on a live show over on the Gun Website's YouTube channel. We've got this link I'll post to some close-ups over on Instagram, and there's still time. We're going to do the drawing later on in the day or in the show, and any purchase is a qualifying entry into that. And again, just wanted to take a break there in case anybody happens to be watching. We do have 24 viewers here. If anybody's interested, we'll drop some links out there. Kind of interrupted you before though, so you said you went up and visited them, Roosted. What was that? Is it like they just have it open, or is it some kind of invite thing, or did you just go up there and purchase something, or what was the situation?
Yeah, it's basically up front is just like a any other gun shop, really. It's just all his custom parts laid out on shelves. I actually shot a little bit of video. I'm gonna try to edit tomorrow and get posted, kind of like the gun shop of the day style. It's just a little 3-minute video walkthrough. I'm gonna try and see if I can't get a little more in with him and see if he'll let me come check out the machining and stuff like that maybe later down the road. He was pretty excited at the prospect of showing up on my little tiny YouTube channel and getting a little more exposure.
And I think that's what it's all about, right? Because you're able to bring a camera to him. He doesn't have to pay anything for it, really, right? He'll be able to do it in appreciation. You're able to do it in appreciation. It works out good for both of you, and we all get an insight into what's going on there. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really neat. They're really good people. I mean, I wouldn't say family owned, but small time or small town style. I mean, it's up in North Branch, Minnesota. So yeah, I really enjoyed myself.
Where's North Branch at?
It's about an hour north of.
Is he breaking up for you guys?
Yeah, I thought it was me. I was fixing to turn my bandwidth all the way down.
Yep, we're locked.
You
I
broke
can turn
up.
mine down. Is that
Up. You
better
said
now?
of, I don't know. You said it was north of?
About an hour's north of St. Paul.
Oh, okay. So that's a drive for you. It's a couple hours each way.
Yeah, it's 121 miles actually each way.
So here's a
But-
question.
Oh,
Just
go
because
ahead.
we're a bunch of people that are on the internet, and pretty much everybody in here's got a camera. Everybody in here's got a camera and has done stuff online. Most of the people watching us have got a camera and have done stuff online. Would you have driven 100 and something miles to go check out a firearms manufacturer if there wasn't a little bit extra incentive, like being able to get some footage and grow a channel or a project, or to share with other people? If it would have just been you driving up there, and then, you know, maybe be able to, like, you know, tell your friends about it when you came home. If that was the only thing, would you think you would have still done it?
Yeah, the first time I was up there, I actually went up after one of the Capitol rallies. I had just kind of bumped into him on the internet, and I took a few still photos and some video with my potato camera on my old phone, and wasn't worth posting. But I don't know. I think it was definitely part of the motivation to go up there this time was to make sure I got a better video, you know, a little better walk around and try and make some connections with those guys up there.
What do you guys think? Would you think that we would all be as motivated, I guess, or like, is putting as much effort into exploring and sharing and stuff if we didn't have the internet, if it was all just the olden days of, I guess, stuff we had before, which was nowhere near as effective as getting the information around. So we would have never.
Well, I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't even know something existed that close, without that, unless you just happen to read about it in your Guns and Ammo magazine once a month.
Exactly, right? I mean, look at all the stuff you might grow up right next to, and unless you knew to even start exploring, how would you even know, right?
I live an hour or less from Rise Armament, and I never even had any clue they were there. So I just Googled it. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool.
And you might be buying stuff from a place or at least buying stuff that's that brand, right? And you never look at the back of the package unless you have a problem, right? To like find out where it is. And then,
Well, I've got a Rise Armament trigger and a couple Rise Armament charging handles, and I bought and never even had any clue they were in Oklahoma.
I live an hour away from the biggest sportsman's guide outlet, and I've never been there, and I didn't know it existed till I think G posted something about it on Instagram. I still haven't been there.
Sportsman's Guide. It's not like a chain or anything. They have a catalog thing, but that's their only one. I'll do a video. I got some video from doing a tour of the inside. It's awesome. It is massive, and but that's their only location. I mean, they have 2 warehouses, but it's their only location. They don't have stores or something like some of the Canadian brand chains that have branch locations all around or warehouses all around.
Yeah, I'm totally looking forward to going up there and checking that out. I'll probably spend the whole day.
Pink is saying he travels, and he's saying it's pretty much exclusive. Well, I don't know if he's saying exclusively, but for the benefit of the people that are watching, Gun Channels members. What did I just do? So, like I say, there are links out there. I don't know if people aren't paying attention or if they're not listening, but there are links out there. Feel free to jump in if you want. And where else are we going with industry or tech? Anybody else done any factory tours before? Anything, any scale, any size?
No, I never have. Is that hard to set up? Do you find people pretty receptive? Because I'd love to go down to Aero Precision and walk around with a camera. I don't know if they'd let me.
I mean, I guess it depends. I've had very good success for sure. I mean, not 100% success, I guess. Geisley would never let us go in there for whatever reason, like ever. And that we were persistent about that one because we were having pretty good luck on that tour. And Haas really wanted to see Geisley. And I can't get back into NAA, but it's probably because I talk shit about their guns too much. But and it depends on what size you're talking about. I've had some really interesting kind of, I don't know if you call them tours, but behind the scenes, go in the back room and hear more about the business and stuff with little shops. And then you go in back and you find out they have a mill or something, or they're doing some kind of plastic work or gunsmithing or something, and that can be pretty interesting.
Here a while back, I went to A1 Custom Steel Target Shop, which I didn't tell them anything about being on YouTube other than just that Clover, basically got me introduced to them to buy some targets, and they showed me their shop and all that. It's pretty neat. I'd like to, I've had video of it, but I didn't want to do that. I just went there. It was pretty neat, though.
I guess all they can say is no.
Well, I wasn't even going to ask because that's Clover's kind of sponsor deal. So
yeah, I totally understand that.
Anybody else ever been to a tour or factory or anything? Checked out a back room, hung out?
I don't know, but I wanted to contact Rise Armament now and see if they'll even entertain the idea of talking to me.
You got, well, even closer to you is Mike Friend at Firing Line. Romix is about halfway between you and those guys in Broken Arrow.
Who is?
Tromix.
I don't know who that is.
Short AKs or short AKs, shotguns. Tony Roma. Oh, Tony, that was his name. Romix.
I know when we went up to TriggerCon, we could have went on a tour, but our security clearance wasn't. We didn't have background checks and security clearances together.
To go where?
It was a factory tour up in someplace up close to TriggerCon up in the Northwest.
Oh, okay. Maybe someplace that had like government contracts or something where they don't want
Yeah.
people walking around.
Yeah, we would have had to have had, I forget what they called it, some type of security clearance to actually step foot in there.
Oh, I haven't heard that one before, but I definitely heard where they don't want people in there. Now, have you ever seen these little AKs before? Tony's the
Wow,
guy.
looks
Oh,
Tony's the guy that tuned down a little Sega 12s back when they were really expensive. Just tweaked with them, and got them down to where you could make them into little crank-looking thingies.
that's
And,
pretty cool.
Since then, of course, people ripped him off, but he makes a pretty good name for himself. They have been made this style little Sega 12 for a long time. And then he did all kinds of neat stuff with ARs and stuff too. So he's a gunsmith, like say, about halfway between you and Broken Arrow.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
So we got the Instagram going, and we're being boring. So we're talking industry or tech. So I guess more specifically, going any tours. Angelina, you've been to any tours? You do all kinds of work with other people.
Yeah, I've been to a couple like, I guess, factory tours. I don't know if I can name names because I've signed a lot of NDAs, but one of them was a place that like mills Glock slides, like the like the aftermarket ones, like the cool, well, in air quotes, cool stuff like that. Yeah.
How did you get those set up? Is it because of your business, or are you just?
Yeah, it's pretty much like, oh, you're local or you'll be in the area. Let's, have a meeting or come to the shop or whatever. And then, yeah, sometimes I like to be a little bit cheeky and see like, well, they let me do something cool. So I went to like a Cerakote shop and they let me spray Cerakote. I got to like move a mill and press a button. The kind of shit I do. But yeah, it's I mean, I get a lot of stuff offered to me, but things that I've asked, they seemed pretty like, oh yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
most of the hesitation would be if like they do something proprietary, right, or some kind of a process or something that they wouldn't want people to see. And I mean, very rarely, at least in my experience, they don't have their entire operation set up to where it's like a giant, explanation of their secrets or something. So a lot of times they don't mind you taking some pictures because it helps show that they're, I don't know, size and scale, right? So if they're employing 12 or 15 people, that's I think that would be beneficial. I think they see the benefit of letting people know about that. I guess on the other side,
a lot of I'm sorry not to interrupt you, but a lot of smaller businesses, I mean, they're proud as shit about what they're doing. So they want you to be excited about their product. They want you to see the work that goes into this product that you love. So, I mean,
I was going to say maybe if they're small, they might not want people showing how small of an operation they are. I guess that could be a concern.
yeah.
And they want to make sure you're not working for another company. That would be his guess. Or their guess. I don't know, gender or
Yeah,
something.
I mean, they don't want you to know they're operating out of half a garage.
But when you're talking about doing the background check or whatever, I mean, as far as the security clearance, that's something different. But just having them want to vet you, I guess. I don't know. I guess it depends. If they would probably do that before they even allowed you to come in, right?
Yeah, or I mean, if they had some kind of sensitive thing, like you said, I mean, I don't think they'd bring you over there. They'd probably be like, this is where we do the magic, avert your eyes. and then we'll go over here. Doesn't Glock like let you check it out and then they give you free swag at the end?
No. The people have been in Glock, but I've never been in Glock. I don't think it's easy to get into Glock. As far as like a tour of their factory, I would have said they don't offer it, but then there have been a few people that have gone in there.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people say that they were like stoked to do it. I don't know. I mean, I guess you never really know until you put yourself out there and ask.
I don't know, but I looked up that Tromix place. I've drove by there a million different times working.
Mm-hmm. He's just
Never
sort of
knew it was there.
He's just in the middle of like farms. You wouldn't know. It just looks like a house out there.
Good thing about Oklahoma, you never know what's around.
Psycho Camp Silent. Have you? Hey, weren't you supposed to be gone today?
That was yesterday. You didn't even miss me, did you?
No, I knew. Well, no, I guess not, because I thought it was today. But
it was a great show. We had a wonderful show. But yeah, there's all kinds of. I mean, obviously, I live in Connecticut. Connecticut's the home of firearms, and there's all kinds of places all around me, and not a single one will let you in.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because they're under such pressure from the state. I mean, Jesus.
I'd been interested in going up there just for that. Now, you can't even go in to go to their museums. They don't even have museums or anything there.
Oh yeah, some of them do, like Colt does.
Okay,
but a lot of them, you'd be surprised. A lot of the manufacturers we hear are not that big. Like Stag Arms is not really that big. But they just have such a hard time with all of that crap. That and of course with the last set of elections, I mean, we just got our butts handed to us. All kinds of evil people took over, and they've got gun legislation up the wazoo, and they're getting ready to redefine a lot of firearms. And these guys are just trying to keep their heads down. Basically, they're trying to keep their heads buried in the sand so that they figure if they're not noticeable, nobody will pick on them. So I don't think the guys here in Connecticut are really that interested in having people come in and tour them and put YouTube videos up and stuff, which is too bad because there's a lot of cool stuff up here.
Yeah, that is too bad.
So you think they're just trying to fly under the radar, away from enemy eyes for now?
Yeah, basically. And Mass was the same way. I mean, everybody pisses and moans about how Smith & Wesson sold out. Well, that was the environment they were in. They wanted to be able to keep doing business, so they had to start with the Hillary holes and all that stuff. So what are you going to do? Which is a shame because there's just so much cool stuff. I mean, obviously, if you go to in Springfield, you go to Springfield Armory, the Armory actually made guns. And that's a great museum. If you ever get a chance to come up and go to the Springfield Armory, that is a fantastic place to go. And see how they used to do stuff in the old days. And
that's in Connecticut.
That's in Massachusetts. It's in Springfield. From the airport, it's about 15 minutes from the airport.
Oh shit. Okay. And it's still a museum of the Armory, what it was in the day.
Yeah. Okay. There's all kinds of different buildings. I've only been in the main building where they have a lot of the guns and some of the machinery. But my understanding is there's other buildings you could go to and see that. And they do a lot of special events and stuff like that. But I'd really like to get into some of the newer guys, I'd love to, Stag Arms. These guys are always doing the basic, because Stag Arms is really cool because they adhere to the letter of the law, but not the spirit. So they're really cool guys because they build stuff that if you read the law and you look at the firearm, it 100% complies with the law as written. And they take advantage of every friggin' loophole. Any if there's a definition that's not quite all the way there, that's what they do. And I'd love to meet those guys. Those guys are neat.
Yeah, I've always thought they were cool for those kind of reasons, and that they don't leave, right? That's always good. But that's necessary to challenge because they're poorly written infringements. If they go untested or unchallenged, but that's a cool company.
Yeah. But the problem is states have unlimited money because they get it from us. And these companies, they can't afford the huge lawsuits because it just puts them out of business.
Georgia Trucker is saying that he'd seen a video about a year ago about FN doing tours, and at the end you could buy a gun at a huge discount. Not sure if they're still doing it. That would be interesting.
Well, they have a scratch and dent thing in the FN factory tour. I think there's like a scratch and dent room. You could probably buy those.
Is that
discounted
here
price.
in America?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I gotta find out where that is.
Definitely bring like a selfie stick and knock shit over all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll buy that. I'll buy that one too.
Well, let me look on my gun to find out where it's at.
18 scratch scars, 3509s.
Sorry, I'll buy.
Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Knock over a whole rack full of shit, just like the motorcycles, just whack one, have it whack into the next one.
No, the trick is you have to have somebody else with you, though, that way, and don't let them know they're with you. That way they get kicked out and you get the deals.
I'll totally be the guy that knocks them over, and then you go buy the gun.
Yeah, and I'll buy two, and that way you can get one too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm happy to get kicked out. I could sell it.
All right, quit these out of state weird straw purchase felony scam slip and fall arrangements. Let's move on.
Oh, you mean Tulsa?
All right, so we're watching the chat over on Gun Channels. Gunchannels.com is a community. It was built 5 years ago by us and has been run that whole time by the generosity of a couple of people. There's hardly any ads over there. There's not very much cost, so we don't bug you about any of that. You can be a member or you can join for free. Thousands of people are free members. Hundreds of people use the site every day. Dozens of people use it constantly, and there's there's dozens of people online almost always, and we have live conversations happening concurrently. There are I'm trying to say scheduled shows that are live that happen in the evenings, like this one, and conversations that'll open up for anyone who wants to join in and be part of a live conversation about guns in a room like this or in a text chat outside. And you're welcome to join us over there. That's where we're watching the chat. This show, the Daily Gun Show, is an effort to use the new media, use the interactive parts of the platforms like we have to keep these conversations, not just the whatever we have 8 people in this room, but the people that are joining us out from the rest of the country as well. And we appreciate the people that are using the chat out there to be part of this conversation. And with that in mind, I'm looking to see what somebody said out here. Nate saying it would be sick to tour the Beretta USA plant in Tennessee. Well, I didn't know it was in Tennessee. Has anyone ever done that? By now, you would think if that's a possible thing, someone would have done it. Tennessee's right in the middle of everybody. Has anyone ever seen a Beretta USA factory tour?
They offered a tour, what was it, 4 or 5 months before they opened to the media and a few other people. But as far as what I can find online, they don't offer tours currently.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of nice if you are creating content like Clover, who is out there and doesn't jump in for some reason. Or any of you guys who are creating content, that's kind of not necessarily a free ticket, but at least it's certainly, at least you can get a phone call or two and get them at least curious. And well, we've already talked about it, but I've had pretty decent success. So unless you're, have just a bad interaction with them, more than likely you'll get a tour. And one way to do it, I guess, would be to suggest to them that you'll do the whatever you do, like a video or photographs or whatever, and show it to them first so that they can have you edit or pass on it completely, so that way they know there's no wild card. They're not going to get a video that shows some something important up on the internet or something.
We should do that at Tulsa.
What's that?
You know how we always go to museums and stuff. We ought to go to a gun manufacturer.
Okay.
We got like 8 of them right in Tulsa.
Which ones are in Tulsa now? So I know about
Sure Shots out there.
Sure Shot.
Yeah. Well, like I'm just wondering if maybe if we could pick one that people found interesting, and I'd be happy to make a call and find out if we can get a small group in.
Yeah. Tromix is a cool dude, and I don't know what there'd be to look at. He's just a big machine shop, like a big room with his stuff kind of around the perimeter. But if there's, I don't know. And then the nice thing about going to a manufacturer is a lot of times they'll take a bunch of their stuff out and shoot it. They either have a facility there or they'll take you to a range like we went to, and they could join us out there with a bunch of their stuff, and that would be neat.
Well, like I said, just a thought. If we could, I mean, it doesn't have to be Tulsa. Maybe there's other bigger places in Oklahoma that are not that far away that people might be interested in, and it might be fun to get a a tour together for like 10 or 15 people. That would be neat.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the ones I've been in. I mean, there's certainly some that could handle 15, but I don't know. Some of them are too small. Like they would soon, you wouldn't be able to get 15 people through and still be able to hear and stuff. And then as far as like how many people would you think that the company would want for 15 people walking through their place? Maybe 3 people keeping an eye on everybody. Yeah, go ahead.
What was the place that Gunsnob was just talking about? Is that something you guys would want to tour?
I don't know. You said you went there. Is it a large enough place to? I mean, I don't think 15 is kind of optimistic anyway. I mean, that's if everybody's wife showed up and we all decided to show up. When you guys were at the museum this last time, it was more like 3 or 4 people, right?
We had 6, I think, but yeah.
Well, I just remember that April was, that's when we had like 34 people. I mean, that was a lot of people.
But I mean,
I know November is kind of a tough time at Tulsa, but April it would be. And I mean, I'd be willing to come in a day early, like I did the range shoot and everything. So, if we're going to do something like that, I would definitely, whatever it took,
Yeah. Well, and if you're talking like doing it on a Wednesday or a Thursday anyway, then that's already people can afford to show up that much early. So, it's not going to be the full number of people.
I mean, I can probably come in a day early too.
So when you went to that place, I'm thinking of Roosted. Roosted went to that place. I mean, obviously it doesn't work for Tulsa, but would that have been a place that 15 people could mill around and walk through? Is it spacious enough, I guess?
The storefront itself would be pretty crowded with 15 people in it. As far as manufacturer goes, I don't remember the name of the other city they're in, but they just opened a new manufacture plant and doubled down on all his machining equipment so they could keep up with demand. So I could, probably try and make some arrangements. Like I said, I'm kind of working on that, see if I can get in there.
Marco jumped in. Are you going to add something? Marco's out in, I don't know if we got Angelina jumping in from California. We have Cycle Camp jumping in from Connecticut. Marco just jumped in here from Maryland. We got Gary coming in from Kansas. Pink joined us from Ohio. We got Woods again from Pacific Northwest. Roosted's up in Minnesota. Snobs in Oklahoma. I'm down here in Arizona. And feel free if you're out there in the chat. Again, this is an interactive effort here. Where are you from? Where are you listening from? Where are you commenting from? But Marco, what'd you jump in? You got something to throw in? Manufacturers?
Yeah, no, I mean, like it's that like it's really touchy and feely, like which ones you can get into. So some will claim ITAR and not let you in. Like I have a really, really good personal relationship with Geisley, and I can't even get into Geisley. I asked them just if I can get into their cafeteria, and they still won't let me in there. So, but yeah, I mean, and they claim things like ITAR. But then, for example, I can get into LWRCI, and they're definitely involved in ITAR, and I can't even get. And like, I was welcome to go in there specifically to the manufacturing part. So, like everyone's touching feely as far as how they want to do it. I mean, Geisley has a specific reason. I found out later why it is that they don't let anybody in there, but they have the reason. It's a pretty good one too. So, but probably the coolest one that I've been to, I'd have to say it's Atlantic Firearms, because they like as soon as you walk into like, and it's a really small operation, and it's funny because their address is like what they post on public as far as their address is nowhere near where they are. They're like on the other side of town.
That happens a lot with places like that, but they're like an importer and distributor. So
Yeah.
they're, when you say small, not physically or
No, like they're physically small.
money wise, but just like not a lot of people for the infrastructure.
Both. Like honestly, like I mean, like, Atlantic Firearms being one of like I guess the largest after Century Arm, probably like the largest AK distributor slash importer in the country, I would say, or just the biggest seller of AKs. Like it's a warehouse maybe the size of a house, maybe like I don't know, 1,500 square feet. You know, and it's pallets on pallets on pallets, but it's not a massive like Coca-Cola industry like conveyor belt type thing that I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to Brownells. I haven't been to Brownells, but I've seen people that have visited and get to see like, you know, their whole distribution center.
The Brownell's place on the highway and like seeing it from the outside. I don't think I posted the video, but I've got video like to show. Brownell's is pretty big. You could fit 2 or 3 Brownells inside a Sportsman's Guide though.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like I've seen people that go into like the warehouse part of Brownells where like it's like a UPS shipping, like, you know, with conveyor belts and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
No, but Atlantic Arms to me is just the coolest because as soon as you walk in there, it is 2 walls, L shape, and they literally have every gun that they've ever carried or sold on the wall. So
that's pretty cool. I wish more places would do stuff like that and then share that with people, because I've been to a couple of rooms like that where they'll, and then like holster and other like optics places, they'll just have like a bunch of guns that they need for whatever testing and pictures and stuff. So I've seen some incredible like rooms of guns that are like companies' collections and stuff. Yeah, they're missing massive opportunities sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, but they're not open to the public. I mean, like they specifically list their address on the opposite side of town just so people won't know where they are.
Yeah, I've run into ITAR before. In fact, I've gone to whole tours because I knew the people, I guess, you know. So we went in and toured. You can see stuff, and then we were taking pictures. But I ended up being able to use maybe like a quarter of my pictures because they were just taking pictures of too many parts, too many processes and stuff that, you know, ITAR fans like foreigners can't see some of that stuff, I guess.
Yeah. So when I went to LWRCI, the funny thing, like I was like, hey guys, you know, like I'm in town because they're actually like on the way to the beach. Basically, like, you know, if you live in the DC metro area, they're on the way to Ocean City, Maryland. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm on the way to the beach. So I'll be driving by in the middle of the day. Let me know, like, you know, like if I can stop by. And they call me back and they're like, yeah, we'd love for you to come by. Da, 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 da. And I'm thinking, okay, let me get my camera ready. I'm gonna take all these pictures. Da 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 da. I take a picture of the front logo of the sign outside, and I walk inside. They're like, okay, give me all your camera gear, like your phones, everything. I couldn't have any form of communication. Like I couldn't communicate. I couldn't take pictures. I couldn't do anything. But they let me. They were like, pick that up. You can do whatever you want. I'm like, what's the point of me being here if I can't take content? You know, so it's for the most part, like if you can tour a factory, expect not to be able to create content off of it. If it's an international dealer.
Right, but it's the experience and then being able to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
Who was the one that we were going to be able to tour up at TriggerCon, Marco? We had to have era. Okay.
You either had to be military already or have like some type of federal background check. And I was like, I really don't care. But yeah, like it's funny because some are open to the public, some will like, you know, like if you have a previous relationship with them, if they wanted to work with you in the past. But like what Angelina said earlier, it's like you won't know until you ask, and you'll be surprised how many, like you'll be surprised who will say yes to you. So fucking ask.
So Pancakes is asking if you're going to the thing in Pennsylvania.
Uh, The Great American Outdoor Show, yeah, I go every year. That's like an hour and a half away from me.
Is that near his place?
It's in Pennsylvania. Where is it at?
Harrisburg, the capital. It's the Farm and Trade Show is what it's known as, but it has like its own firearms like wing. It's like 90% like camping, fishing, safari, trailers, camping, like and all that outdoorsy stuff. And it's like 10% guns, but it's a really big convention. I'd say it's about as big as like the downstairs SHOT Show, but you have a lot of bigger equipment there, so it's not as many.
Multiple buildings, or is it all in one big building?
Oh no, it's multiple buildings because they're all like intertwined. They have like archery stuff. Like, they do like archery
What's the
shows.
history? They started doing that in like 11 or 12, I think, and then in 13 they're like, oh, well, let's not do guns anymore, and they pulled all black rifles from it, and everybody said, well, we're not going to it anymore, and then the NRA took it over.
Yeah.
Now it's got guns again.
Yeah, so it is an NRA sponsored show.
And now it's like a hybrid where there's manufacturers set up like at an NRA show, from what I understand, but you can also buy. So it's like a gun show slash, or is it just a trade show?
You can, I mean, like you can buy accessories and stuff, but like no one's set up there to FFL anything out to you.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a gun show.
No, it's not like a gun show. And like I said, like I mean, I'm not. I couldn't even measure it in square foot. Like I said, it's probably like the size of downstairs SHOT Show, just to give you a perspective of it. But maybe the actual gun portion is like a little bit smaller than the law enforcement room. You know, like that room that you walk into before you walk into like the big upstairs place, like where like the SWAT booth.
The main law enforcement room where that big yellow safe is half the time.
Yes, so it's maybe a little bit smaller than that.
That's substantially smaller than like NRA. Did you go to the NRA Carry Expo thing?
Nah, I never went to that.
I don't know how big a scale that is either.
It got canceled one year. Like the first year I was thinking about going for it, and I think the second year it got canceled because of weather.
I think it got moved or something because of the rain. It was too windy.
Oh no, it was actually like in Virginia somewhere, and I think it was like the hurricane that was supposed to hit.
So would most of the guns at the Pennsylvania thing would be new stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean, but it's just not that many manufacturers. Like Remington is there, Aimpoint and EOTech have a booth, but like compared to NRA, like they have like 3 rifle scopes up, and that's it.
Oh,
it's really abbreviated. But I mean, like it's like put it this, it's worth a day trip. Like if I had to go there and get a hotel, I wouldn't do it. But for a day trip, it's worth it. You'll have fun.
well, I'm a camper too, so I might get something out of it.
How far away is it from you?
Well, I can get to the Ohio border of Pennsylvania in about 6.5 hours.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
So it's not too bad.
Okay.
And Harrisburg's a hell of a lot closer than that.
no, Harrisburg is like really close to Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be 3 hours off of that.
Yeah.
Do you go to it, Pink?
No, it'd be
It'd be like 5
yeah,
hours.
yeah, it'd be about 5 hours for me. It'd be wouldn't be as long as driving to the bullpup shoot like I did, but I'm always working whenever that's going on.
All right, sweet. Well, do we have a gun show or a gun shop of the day today, or no?
Why don't we let the Gun Channels chat pick who's going to pick the gun shop? So you can see who's in here and start seeing some votes. And we'll see. So we asked before who lives where, and let's see what anybody said. Nothing. We said nothing. Nope. See, Nate says South Carolina. And that's it. We have one viewer from South Carolina.
The one thing I would suggest, though, if anyone wants to go to the Great American Outdoor Show, try to go during the week because everyone like it's a 10-day show, which is funny. It's probably one of the longer running shows out there. You can do the whole firearm section in a day. That's why I said, if you can get down there for a day trip, it's worth it because the room is relatively small. But I would not go on the weekend because it's just so packed, and then the fire it becomes more condensed than trying to maneuver through SHOT Show. If you go like, on a Saturday or Sunday, it's to me it's just not worth doing because at that point it gets hard to create content. There's constantly it's way too much, and then it's open to the public, so like you got people with strollers, and backpacks and bags of like catalogs. I try to go during the week.
Strollers are the worst, dude.
No, backpacks are worse.
You got to realize this happens in February on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, so everyone's wearing like their triple extra large, like they just came in from hunting, so it's like their triple extra large hunting jacket, and backpack and stroller and fucking just like bags of like brochures. I'm like, oh God, get out of the way.
Ugh, sounds awful.
Ghost just toured a factory. He may have something to add on factory tours.
On what now?
On factory tours. We were talking about factory tours. I said you just toured a factory. You may have something to add. I'll throw you under the bus.
Yeah, I was at Walther, and it's a really cool factory. But like Marco said, I mean, I spent a couple hours there, but I was only able to film probably 10 minutes of it max because we go into the production line because they're producing the 2019 line of Walther right now. So he made me leave my camera and stuff out the door. I put my phone in this box, and we went to the armor, the gunsmith room, and had to leave my cameras outside. So basically, I was allowed to see their warehouse, their distribution line, and their media room where they create their own videos and all of that. That was basically all that I was allowed to video, which is cool because I got to see all of it, but I wasn't able to create any content for it. But you're talking proprietary things. You're talking about production lines that haven't been released to the public yet. I understand what they're saying. So, man, I got to see it. It was really cool. I wish I would have been able to show more, but I obviously understand why you can't do that.
The funny thing when I toured Atlantic Firearms, the one thing they asked me to do was not take any pictures that included any windows in the building. Nothing that I could actually identify the building. They were like, I can take pictures of all the product that I want, all the stacks of guns that I want, but nothing that showed a door or a window or something like that, or any outside part of the building.
Yeah, I jumped in kind of like in the middle of what you were talking about earlier, Marco, but I was assuming for some of these international importers and all that, I mean, that's probably pretty standard, is it not?
I would think so, just for security and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm setting up my thing here for the giveaway thing here. So, Ghost, you and Clover have an announcement you guys just did before this show. What's going on with all this?
Yeah, we're doing a sweepstakes. We're going to call it a sweepstakes because YouTube doesn't like the word giveaway. But we are giving away a Charles Daly field model 20 gauge automatic or semi-automatic shotgun. And it's not just that. We've got several companies that have jumped in to throw some different accessories and some different goodies and all that. And you go to my channel. We did a live show. There's links in there over on Gunstreamer, on Facebook, all of that. There's links on where you can go to register and all that. There's certain things you can do, but it's basically clicking a mouse. And we will run another live show next Friday at 9 Central, and we will announce and do a live drawing of the winner. So we want to do it Friday because we have to have it in the mail by Monday to get it to you by Christmas. So you will get it by Christmas.
That's very cool. And like you guys said, it's neat that you guys are able to do something like that, share freedom at the holiday.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're saying is we're going to give the gift of freedom for Christmas. So
We're gonna start calling Clover and Ghost little Yankees.
You know, I wish you know, there's a part of Yankee that I wish I was, and that is the dude gives away anywhere from 6 to 8 firearms a month, and that I would love to be there. I mean, that's just amazing. People can say and think what they want to about Yankee, but the fact that he's given 6 to 8 guns out a month to people is truly an awesome part of this community.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, some of it, you know, some people are his patrons just because of that, but a lot of them were his patrons before he started doing that, so he's really giving up his own money, truthfully.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the man walks the walk. There ain't no question about it.
Yeah, you may not like some of the things he said, but you're talking about a supporter of the Second Amendment. He is definitely walking the talk and putting, like you said, putting his money where his mouth is.
Well, it looks like the chat's wanting Gizzard to pick the gun shop.
Oh, I got the vote for.
Why did I get singled out for that?
Because they thought you were asleep.
Yeah, they thought you were asleep. They wanted you to wake up.
No, I ain't asleep. But we've only got one gun shop in this area, and it's already been featured a couple times.
Well, we featured. Or did you go to any when you were in Tulsa?
Gun shops?
Mm-hmm.
No. Did not go into any gun shops.
All right. So we got 12 orders over there. So am I screen sharing yet? No. Screen share this random page over here. I'll change this to 12. I was going to ask Marco to do it, but let me double check who ain't in this. How about pink? Top or bottom?
Bottom.
So what we're doing here is this giveaway for all this stuff over here. And 12 different people ordered from the store today. Really do appreciate that. That is how we keep our stuff going. And so we took those 12. We're giving them a thing here. You said from the bottom, so I'm doing it off screen there so that people's privacy stays. Boom, 6 from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dave. If I can tell from the email who that might be. Uh-oh, I think I do. I know exactly who that is. So if we go over here to the gun channel side. Oh, he's not over here today. So 7 Wonders, I think he's over on the gun channel side or on the YouTube side. 7 Wonders won it. So all of this loot right here is going to this dude right here. Boom, thank you very much. And thanks everybody for purchasing stuff today. Speaking of purchasing, I noticed this is in the store now. These are
It is.
I already have one on the way to me, I'm assuming, or a couple of them.
There might be probably sometime this week. But yeah, those are shipping now.
Are these 1-inch squares? No.
No, they're 2.5 high.
Very cool. Yeah, that didn't take very long. We were just talking about these the other day.
Yeah, and they, I mean, they're not too big, and they're, I don't know, the yellow turned out, like, perfect. Like, I'm super happy with the yellow.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. And these are available over at the Allen Acre store right now. Not like you have to wait or anything. Buy these, they're coming to you on Monday or Tuesday. Right on. Well, again, thanks for people who purchased stuff over at the store. I don't know what else I had open here. Oh, I had this open. So I was going to show you what we're talking about. Ghost talked about this sweepstakes or whatever they're talking about. And I only did a couple of them here, but show you how easy it is. You just take this link right here and follow it by clicking on it. That's how the internet works. And then you'll be at this page. I already clicked a couple of them, you can see. But like if you go follow Ghost on Gun Channels, right? Oh, what do you know? I'm already following them. So Boom, magic of Clover's coding or whatever. Boom, let's go find out. I'm not going to do Facebook. You can do Facebook on your own. So let's go follow them on Instagram. Follow on Instagram. Boom, already knows I'm following. Boom, got a little check mark. So let's follow Ghost. Hey, what do you know? I'm following them already. Boom, got a check mark. So every time you do one of these check marks, right, these are giving you little entries or whatever. So imagine if I click somewhere right here, it'll tell me I'm up to 11 out of a possible 137. That's pretty cool. So go in there. You can follow places like the people that Ghost said were working with them, and follow them on the various platforms, and then their websites. And then finally, you can tell other people about it. It's kind of a neat way to get extra chances to be part of it all, right? And you said this is next Sunday night.
Next Friday, going for 1 week. Yeah, 1 week, because we had to go and figure out through the shipping companies what was the last day to get it to them, to get it there guaranteed by Christmas, and it's Saturday. But he's got an FFL that's going to ship it for us. He says he needs it there the day before, which means we have to get it to him by Saturday to mail it out on Monday. So yeah, actually, I think he's actually going to take it to him on Friday, and then just call him on Saturday and give him the name and address. But he's going to go ahead and take it to the FFL on Friday.
And it sounds like then next Free Patch Friday will be my last chance to get stuff out there too.
Yeah, I mean, they basically said to get it out guaranteed by Christmas would be Monday.
Right on. So just to FYI, people that ordered before my mail lady went by at about 5 p.m., all that stuff already went out today. And I don't remember, actually, I'm going to look right here. Which one was it? This one? No, it was, yep, his already's left. So I did that because I didn't want everybody else to wait. So I guess 6 other people had already ordered by the time the mail came. So their stuff didn't wait for 7 Wonders to win. And that's why I did that. I figured, sure, it cost, I think, $7 extra to send it to them, but that's what it's all about. So people can get their stuff. They don't have to wait around for tomorrow to get the stuff shipped to them. So again, thanks everybody for participating there. What did we end up with as far as a gun shop tonight?
Gary was a shammer.
Yeah.
How about a museum?
Let's do a museum. So what museum do we want to do?
How about this one?
Sounds good. So I'm going to click on the pink screen. This is when we drove back after the castle, coming back towards Tucson, or actually towards the Gun Rights Policy Conference last year.
Yep. National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. We even had a flyover. We scheduled a flyover for gun channels.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know you got pool right there.
I'm like, we're probably going to be here sometime in the afternoon. Just start flying an SR-71 over. Like that.
Yep.
So we got
we had a whole parking lot to ourselves. They cornered it off to just allow us in there.
It's always
If you fly an SR-71, nobody will notice.
I like them to fly really low. It's really dangerous, but it's worth it for the picture. Yeah, this is pretty cool though. So you come in and it's not really on. It is on the base, but it's not on the base. So you don't have to go through all kinds of background checks and everything. There's just too many people going to that museum, and so you're on the base, but you're in this little section of it. And once you get into the museum portion there, I imagine there must be some events that use all that parking lot, but there wasn't when we were there. There was only barely anybody using the front little parking lot. So we went around back there and had the whole back to ourselves. Didn't we do the Daily Gun Show from there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the Air Force Museum, and it's in, Dayton, Ohio?
Yes.
And it's pretty much, well, it's an Air Force base where, like, all the aliens were taken before they invented Area 51. So it's kind of cool. There's all kinds of other conspiracies happening there. But besides the base, the museum part is like 4 or 5 of these giant hangars that we're inside of here. And they're all connected. They're all right next to each other. And then some giant thermos-looking thing that they put these missiles in now. But you don't even have to go outside anymore. It's awesome. Like it's a huge thing. I mean, you're going to be walking forever, but it's all inside. Should have somebody stand next to that thing.
Yeah, we should.
You just took the ones from. We kind of ran in. I wanted to see because they moved the missiles, and I was looking to find the Hobgoblin, a little plane that comes out of the B-29, and they didn't have it anywhere. They hid it, threw it away. And then we've got Titan II out here, so I always like to look at a Titan II because we don't. They have one, but it's in the silo out here, so it's hard to know how big it actually is because you're at the bottom of a 9-story silo looking up at it. I think it's more impressive than just sitting there in a big giant room like this.
Yeah, that's the Titan II there.
40 megaton intercontinental ballistic missile. We have 18 of them in Tucson. There's 18 of them where Ghost lives. It's a whole nother story, right? And then there's 18 of them in Kansas. So one day I'll be able to go up and see all those. I've had stepped foot on at least 20 something of them, and all kinds of neat stories. Titan IIs are awesome.
But it was definitely interesting to go see. I wish we could spend more time there. That's one thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a museum you need a day, I would say, if not more. If you're into airplanes, you'll want more.
Now, you were talking about that little plane that dropped out from the B-29. Was that the one that Jaeger broke the sound barrier with, that little orange one? Is that what you were talking about?
Oh, no.
That was the X1.
X1? Okay, I couldn't remember which one that was.
I can find a picture of it.
Those Titans look really cool, but I'm sure we don't have any of those in Connecticut because they would be considered assault missiles.
So this guy here is, what was the name of that airplane? The B-29, right? Or is the B-29 or one with all the engines? The big one?
Which one was the Flying Fortress? Was that the B? Was the
52 was the Fortress.
The 52 was the Fortress? Okay.
I think so.
I'm not sure which one was which, but.
No, this isn't it. Let me go back to the wiki. So basically, it's this little. It's a shitty picture. Let me go back to the pictures to look at it. So it's this little tiny jet fighter, right? It looks all tiny and whatnot, and it folds all up, kind of like that little bomber in that one James Bond movie where he comes out of the horse's butt. Here's a dude standing next to it. So it's this little tiny jet, and the idea was that it was going to pop out of a bomb bay and be like a jet assistance to a bomber if it needed it, I guess. And they had this giant goofy contraption to get it out of there because they were just kind of testing it or whatever. So the idea would be that you'd have this bomber and it could drop a little fighter jet out to be its backup, or its, what do you call them?
Wingman?
Wingman. That's interesting. I had never heard of that before.
So ideally, it was supposed to be under this guy. What's this thing? B-29? B-36? What the hell's the name of the one with the 4 props or 6 props and 4 engines or 4 jets?
The 17?
No. Bigger than that. Opening.
Yeah, I was mistaken. The Flying Fortress was the B-17.
B-30. Oh, okay. B-36. It's the biggest plane we ever used, the Peacemaker B-36. So basically, the idea was to throw the little Hobgoblin out of the bomb bay, nuclear intercontinental strategic bomber. It was kind of just a thing that wasn't going to go anywhere. They were just probably testing feasibility or something. Anyway, this little tiny jet used to sit next to the thing at the museum, and they've thrown it away. I don't know what they did with it. It ain't there.
But they said they moved it. They were doing something to it. They moved it.
Yeah, they put it somewhere because the guy kept telling us, "Oh, it's back there." So we're walking around endlessly looking for it. But it's a big museum, so it's easy to He has to walk past something, I suppose.
It's a big museum in a small plane.
Definitely a small
I,
plane.
I did find it if you're interested.
Okay.
So the Goblin was a McDonnell XF-85, and it was intended to be deployed through the Convair B-36 as a parasite fighter. So that's quite an interesting little weird ass
That
plane.
is. Yeah,
really
I've never even heard of that, but that's cool.
Yeah, it's XF-85, and it came out of the Convair B-36 bomber. And they also was looking to be carried by the Northrop XB-35 as well. I guess the XB-30. Obviously, if it has an X in front of it, it ain't real yet. It's experimental. But that's a weird looking little plane. The fighter is just strange looking. It looks like somebody cut half the plane off.
And it looks all squished. It was just awesome.
Yeah.
And they put it. B-36 is our biggest bomber. Like, we made it at the end of the Cold War to drag nukes around before we figured out how to just throw nukes around by themselves. So it's this huge plane. It's got 3 props, 3 propellers driving it from the back, pushing it, and then you've got 4 jets on each, or 4 jets total, I guess. I don't remember. A whole bunch of jets and a whole bunch of props because it was too much to even push up off the ground full of stuff. So it's this crazy giant bomber, and they'd run around in like Alaska because they were for like bombing Russia, right? So just a goofy plane, and yeah, they would have this giant plane, which is the biggest plane ever, inside a hangar, and then underneath its wingspan, along with like World War II bombers can fit underneath each wing of this big guy. There's this little tiny thing, and it almost looks like a bomb, and you get up close to it, and like, nope, it's a little parasitic fighter that goes up inside of this thing, and that's about the coolest thing you can imagine when you're a little kid into airplanes, and you see the biggest airplane we ever made, and this little experimental tiny airplane that goes up inside of it. And they moved it, so kids can't even experience that. Hopefully they put it back.
Yeah.
Nate's saying we need a Hobgoblin patch.
No, that would be a pretty cool patch. I'm not gonna lie.
There's a guy, I can't remember the name of him now. I should probably, Bomber Patches is the name of him. When we first built gun channels, and I was into the patch game and still trying to decide if I should buy a machine or not to sew more. He does basically, like, I don't know what to call them. They're kind of like unit patches, like Air Force unit patches, but they're kind of parodies also, but not like absurd or anything. They're kind of just funny for like Air Force guys. And he gave me a whole bunch of stuff sort of like to help get gun channels going, and I still have a couple of those laying around here and there, but we had them like on the patch wall when we were doing the daily tactical quiz and stuff. And there are some people that do some plane stuff, and then I've seen some people that just do planes. You guys have seen the like A-10, that's kind of like a cartoony A-10, kind of all what's that word when they kind of warp the perspective to make it look like a Bugs Bunny cartoon or something?
No.
Anyway, I've seen some airplane patches out there. So, thing is, the Air Force was the first one to have Velcro on their uniforms. Like the rest of us were all sewing everything constantly. And the Air Force, I don't know why, their jumpsuits always had Velcro on them. So their patches were the first I ever saw in the middle of the 80s with Velcro on them. And like Velcro was just like a pilot's thing. So anyway, I'm guessing they've probably played around with patches a lot longer than the rest of us. Plus, pilots are constantly like, that's the kind of thing you trade, right? You go fly with somebody, you trade your unit patches. So anyway, I bet you they're way into having some.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I wish we had patches back when the time that I was in the Marines, because that would have been kind of cool to trade patches with.
All right, so they're over here saying something. Let's see. Oh, yes. So Weston, yeah, thank you very, 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 very much for posting that. This Sunday, here, so this is horrible. This is freaking horrible. J.M. Davis Museum. So J.M. Davis is a guy, had one of the largest, if not the largest, private collection of firearms in the planet, or the world, at least the United States, and shared that with people in his hotel. When he was getting older, he made an agreement with the state of Oklahoma that he would give them his collection and they would hold it in what's the word, perpetuity? They would hold it and make it available to people free of charge. And Sunday, they're going to auction off how many millions of dollars worth of their guns in Dallas. So we just barely heard about this from what, Pink? Somebody told us about this like maybe a week ago. Not even.
Dano, I think.
No, Dano heard it from somebody who posted it on gun channels. So it was either Dead Horse. I thought it was you, but it might have been Dead Horse. Somebody found out about it. Maybe it was somebody found out about it. Maybe let's give the credit to Dano. He'll just take the credit. And I think it's horrible. I think it's atrocious. I think it's sad. But what are we going to do? It's already happening. We didn't even know about it until it's already scheduled. So, I mean, Texas is fine and everything, but has anybody ever heard of this auction house they're doing it with? Why aren't they doing it with Rock Island? Who's massive, has a massive marketing thing. I just saw a post that they had their biggest auction ever. Was it a $75 million auction or something, like Guinness Book of World Record auction or something?
So I wasn't there obviously in November for Wanamaker, but Snob was there. Did they happen to? Obviously, they didn't have anything posted or mentioned.
Oh, we talked about it there. Yeah, we talked about it with him.
What? I didn't hear about it then. Why didn't tell me relay to the rest of us?
I don't know. I guess I haven't been in any chats about it, but yeah, they talked about it with us. They said basically it's just stuff that they're having to pay storage on that they don't need. But see, all this comes from the embezzlement stuff and all that from back that started in like 02, 05, whenever it happened. It all starts back there with lawsuits and all this between them and the state and the former curator. And somehow or another, out of the settlement came they had to sell so many guns and quit having that storage, basically, because there was a lot of mismanagement of funds by the former curator.
See, this is an individual who's ruining it for everybody, and it almost seems like there's at least no effort to make it transparent. And I'm not going to go so far as to say they're hiding anything, but I certainly don't like any of this. Sounds bad to me. So I'm more for raising money and putting a second floor on the place and displaying all those extra guns. There's no such thing as an extra gun. I want to see some new displays with better glass and different type of arrangements, right? If they've got 6 extra cowboy guns, I want to see a different kind of, have some fun with that. I don't know, maybe some interactive stuff upstairs. But if their issue is that they don't have enough room for it, that's why they make second floors and third floors, right?
Yeah, you could definitely have a different theme where duplicate guns would still fit in that theme, and that would be kind of cool.
I mean, if these got so many guns, there's too many extra guns of Colt, right? Eras of Colt, then great. And then you can have like gamblers' guns, right? Or cowboy guns, or whatever era it is, guns of the detectives, guns of whatever. Like, let's start. Come on, there's got to be ways. Give us a list. We'll figure out displays, right? So anyway, it's discouraging, but what are we going to do? We are not yet motivated or mobilized to a point where we can do anything about it, unfortunately. I'd like to think that at least there's some other people besides myself out there, and I know a couple of you have the same mindset that it'd be great if we got to a point, or when we get to a point where this kind of thing, is as soon as it's on the radar, we're all aware of it. Minds are thinking about it and solutions are found so that they don't have to make a desperate decision like that. And
see, the way Jason talked about it, he was, and I don't know, maybe it was just, that, but they were like happy to be able to. They wanted to be able to. The foundation did, to have that extra money on top of what they've already get to do a bunch of upgrades. So, I mean, they were happy about it acting like, because they said these are guns that had no significance to the collection whatsoever. A lot of them are law enforcement donated guns and stuff that, aren't necessarily valuable guns, is what he was saying.
Pink, you got the link? Number one, they are valuable. They're millions of dollars. And
yeah, but I mean, compared to some.
Yeah, it was on the front page. Dano posted it. There was knuckle dusters.
Auction. You guys were looking at the auction in Knives chat, or in your chat earlier. Pink did it.
Yeah.
But those are certainly some neat looking guns. I saw at least some kind of Nazi gun in there that everybody drools over, right? It was next to that knuckle duster that Dano was drooling over, or Knives was drooling over, and Dano saw that Chicago, those round Chicago guns, palm pistol. There's some neat stuff in there. Definitely enough stuff that could be displays. So I guess what I was saying though is it'd be nice to get to the point where we're all mobilized and interested enough that when this kind of stuff comes along, we come up with some alternatives, crowdfunding, participation through industry or whatever it might be, to provide them with whatever cash they might need or whatever museum it might be to not have to sacrifice firearms, right? But in this case, since there's not much we can do before Sunday, I'm going to go live on Sunday and watch the auction, right? So anybody that's interested, we'll do that on the Gun Websites channel, and we'll follow along. Oh, Pink's got some of the auction stuff up here.
Yeah, if I could get a 1921 Johnson for a reasonable price, man, I'd really be into that.
Now, how awesome is this? They're selling them with the inventory tags from the J.M. Davis collection. So you'll get them with those little brass thing that look like a squish pen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it is going to be neat. And we're going to be watching the auction live on Sunday. We'll just sit here for 8 hours or however long it takes to join in. So grab some popcorn. And
what time does it start?
That's a good question, Pink.
I'm looking. Let's see. Doesn't say.
I mean, I've been on a couple of RIA auctions. Actually, many. I've never won a gun, but I have bid on quite a few of them.
I've never heard of this auction house, but they say they're the world's largest collectibles auctioneer.
What's the name of the place?
Heritage Auctions.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of them either, but yeah.
Yeah, it just has a date. It doesn't have the time.
Interesting. Well, we'll be around.
I'm sure there must be a website out there or something we can grab onto.
Yeah, we'll be around on the channel, so whenever it goes live, we'll be watching. We'll call over there, I'm sure, before, because I'm sure a couple of people might be interested. Some of these things have incredibly low bids on them right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I couldn't understand. I mean, like, $500 for some of these falling block, I mean, even the palm pistol here, $800.
I mean, that's not a.
But it's also an auction. It may not. Nobody's going to bid on it until the last minute.
But there was one that was. I'm trying to find it. That
but
just
we're not looking at a bunch of like 900 of the same Tauruses or like a Smith and Wesson like police trade-in like arsenal or something. We're looking at a whole bunch of unique, interesting individual guns here. Weston is saying there's 149 of them. So I think we got to take the black eye as a community. We dropped the ball. This is something that we, especially us, people from gun channels and people that are around Tulsa, we weren't even aware this is all happening, and volumes don't get raised or whatever. That's one of the things that can happen when there's so much stuff going on. So there's no perfect way to do everything, but it would certainly be nice to have a filter so that this kind of stuff doesn't have to happen in the future. Man, that's a whole nother discussion, but I'm not a big fan of the Buffalo Bill Museum. He had, I've heard some stories about similar things happen at other museums, and it's discouraging when you hope that a museum would be a final resting place for collections and for specific items that are super critical to history. And when they think of them as commodities and the public, what's the market, I guess, is the biggest funding source, and then they don't see or don't realize they have opportunity to raise funds elsewhere. We're going to see less and less of these guns. These can get sold to somebody from like Saudi Arabia who has $1 billion and doesn't give a shit about all the money it's going to cost to buy these guns. And you dump them in a lake. Just like guns.
Yeah, I found the TulsaWorld.com article about it, and all they say is that it's on December 9th. They don't say what time it is either. This really sucks.
I'll try to look. If I find it, I'll try to post it, because there's been so many
I'd
news
be really
stories.
interested in maybe doing a pre. They say there's pre-bidding on the web.
Well, yeah, we're looking at it. It says one day, 9 hours and 28 minutes time left. So that's probably the ending of it then.
Yeah. You can bid now. Yeah, I could have swore I saw, what was it, a Remington Rand, 1911, I was looking at earlier. Can't seem to find it now.
We need a rich guy to buy all the guns they're selling and put another museum next door. I think that's a great idea. So if you want, just start PayPaling me a lot of money, and I'll start working on this. Did they say someplace in that article what they think these are going to bring in? Like $1.5 million, or am I crazy?
They're looking for $2 million. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna need to crowdfund about 2.5 mil because I'm gonna need a nice hotel to go out there.
Lot number 6194. And it's all like they said, they're all not quite museum quality guns. Oh my God, there's an Edo period Japanese. Son of a bitch.
Well, the
Hey,
thing is,
G,
when
I'll,
you have
I'll
one of
send you a check for 2.5 million. I'm just asking you, please don't try to cash it.
Hold it till he gets all that YouTube money in next week.
Well, I'm good except that last half a mil.
offers
If the market was doing better, I'd be okay. But yeah, that's like
from the last chat, anybody who wants to send
Yep.
more than $10,000, Ghost is going to finance it. So you're good to go.
That's right. That's right.
was that a matching
$10,000.
gift kind of thing?
No,
Yeah, but
it's going to be one of those
he's wanting
things that if you
9,000 down
spend.
though.
Well, here's the thing: if you spend $10,000 on gear websites, CloverTac or Ghost Tactical, I'll finance it. It's not bad terms. It's just a net 30. It's really not that bad.
One easy payment, right? Yeah.
One easy payment.
We've been watching Shark Tank, so we're pretty savvy now.
I still think that the idea of Shark Tank would be awesome. We were talking about it.
Shark Tank tonight, dang it. Well,
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that next week.
They got some nice stuff, man. You get a Spencer for $500 opening bid.
So thanks again, Weston, for mentioning that. It is something I wanted to talk about today because we are going to do this special thing on Sunday and watch the auction live if possible. I imagine we'll do either on this show or on a separate show. We'll look back at some of that stuff because I think it might be an interesting project. Is Wood still in here? I think he'd be interested in something like that, or Cycle for sure. But going in and figuring out, like, if some rich guy did buy all those and set them down in front of us and then said, sort these, come up with some theoretical collections that we would put in the second floor of the museum. And then something like that as an exercise. But I think I will put the Shark Tank idea into the schedule coming up. So one of these nights.
Wouldn't it be cool if one of like the Phillips family from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, went in and bought all that guns for $2.5 million and then donated them back to J.M. Davis? Wouldn't that be awesome?
No, I mean, I hear you. Yes, I think that concept would be neat, but I kind of think it'd be neat to see the museum realize that there's a whole bunch of people that are interested in that. So maybe if they figured they needed $2 million, figure out a way to, tell the community they need $2 million, have it be raised, and then, put up a second floor, like I say, with maybe something like a studio where, every single day there's like a staff person brings a gun in and, makes it available online, and they start to put their collection online, and instead of looking for how they can sacrifice to make do, instead use the resources of the community to not need, and instead just take that collection to the next level. They say somewhere in the article that I read, I think the one that Pink's talking about, that Dano posted, that if those guns were on display, it would make it the largest private collection. And I'm like, why would you? What part of the largest private collection makes you want to start taking it apart?
Yeah.
I forgot how many guns he said they still have in storage. It's just an unreal number what he was telling us is in storage.
Right. That just means, like, again, second floor, second museum. NRA had too many downstairs, and they started a museum in St. Louis.
I think G stepped on a real good idea there, as far as bringing a gun out every day and putting it online. People pay Patreon, people Patreon money all the time for videos every day. Just think of how much Patreon money that they be getting just to see all these cool guns.
Have like a studio set up, like you might at like a workshop space, so that people who are creating videos or doing research or writing a book can bring the guns to an area and get pictures taken, and make interactivity part of the whole.
What I think would be cool if they could do if these guns aren't museum quality and are doubles and all that, have them where they can allow people to actually look at them, not just through a glass. Actually pick them up and
put them on a tether, or maybe take that collection and make it portable, and like a big van drives around with a bunch of like cases that you can just wheel into a gun show, relatively easily, like the guns never have to leave the case kind of thing, and set up a little mobile museum or 6 of them. or maybe put museums in other places if they got so many.
Georgia Trucker says live auction at 10 a.m. Central.
Heritage Auction website, scroll down to it. Thanks. We're probably trying to wipe the tears from our eyes and not being able to see everything on the site. All right, well, so that was an exciting show. Hopefully everybody was happy. We did all kinds of fun stuff, and this was episode 705. We'll be back on Monday with episode 706. Tomorrow is Saturday, so over on Gun Channels, the Saturdays start out with Travis, does Caliber Corner for a couple of years now. Then usually somebody opens up a chat. If Dead Horse is working on a project, he'll sometimes open something up and make it available to everybody. Then Rick, now in Indiana, does his show called Rick's Life as I See It. I think at 3 o'clock Eastern. And Snob, you doing a show tomorrow night?
Yes, sir.
Is there another Saturday show I'm missing?
I don't think so. I think me, Rick, and Travis is it.
So I'll do a workshop in the afternoon tomorrow. Anybody that wants to have any questions or wants to collaborate with others doing 2A media, get with us tomorrow. We do that on Tuesdays. We do that on Saturdays. We will be around on Sunday when we watch that auction. And then do Ghost and Clover do a show on Sundays all the time, or do you guys just do that occasionally?
Maybe once or twice a month.
Okay. You guys doing one this weekend at all?
No, we're going to do it. We're going to wait till next Friday to do this another one.
Right on, Angelina. You got those Fallout patches. Any other new ones?
That 2A flag one, the pro gun as fuck, live free or die camo and safety orange key tag. Some other patches coming in the next month or so.
I saw the stencils you did for course. Are those available, or is that just for?
Oh, the multicam thing, you can buy multicam, digital camo, I think Cryptech on the site. The yellow vinyl is actually high heat vinyl, so if you're actually baking it, like Cerakoting and baking and all that, you're good to go. That's what the pro shops use.
Well, remind me in the after chat to ask you about something, Angelina.
I will. I will remind you.
I have one more other little thing to add about J.M. Davis, though, real quick.
Sure.
I did not know this till I was there, but if you are cleaning out Grandpa's attic and you find a fully automatic machine gun that's not registered with a tax stamp and stuff and can't be registered now because it's not on the registry, J.M. Davis Museum can actually take that instead of turning it into the ATF or the police department to have it destroyed. They will take it and put it on display versus that because they can still register it because of what they are.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I learned about that, or even the concept of that last time. That's pretty cool. People are asking about the tactical T-Rex. Are those still available? On the
yeah, tactical T-Rex. There's only maybe 4 or 5 of them left though.
Do you have a sticker version?
We do. It's not on the site yet, but if you order something and you want a T-Rex sticker, just leave a note and I'll throw one in.
What am I missing? Roosted, you got anything coming up? You mentioned you're going to be doing, you have a video coming of that shop or of that tour?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get that out the beginning of next week. And I've been having some fun playing with that CX4 Storm, so we'll get some more video of that up. I'm going to try and sneak in one more blind challenge for Patriot because I think that's over on Sunday.
Well, that's another good thing to mention. So, yeah, Patriot is our friend over here on Gun Channels who's had a challenge out for, when did he start that? It was a while, it's months ago. And his challenge is to blindfold yourself, do some sort of a video where you describe a firearm as if you were talking to somebody over a phone. The idea is that the people that are out there trying to enjoy the Second Amendment can be frustrated when those of us who just look at everything, right, visually not impaired, we tend to assume a lot. So the idea would be for us to consciously think about how we describe it. So I guess use the example of as if we were describing it over the phone to someone. And I think it was a neat exercise. It's neat to see people's interpretation of it and their, how they end up doing it. And what he's trying to get 50 altogether. He's in the 40s right now, and he's ending it on Sunday. But it's a great effort, and all you have to do is do something.
That link I just threw out there is his original video link.
Oh, right on. Yeah, you threw that on the YouTube side, and just put a hashtag blind challenge, and that's all it needs to basically be part of it. And the idea there is that we're creating all together. We're all creating a resource for those people that are interested in finding out more about firearms that are specifically addressing their curiosity about the details that we often overlook. I think it's neat, and that's what it's all about. Is remember, just keeping in mind once in a while the other people that are out there participating in what we're doing, and don't necessarily. I don't know if anybody has ever got to to ask that for them, or so that's kind of cool. Put hashtag blind challenge in the title, I guess so, or in the comments, right, or in the content of the description or whatever, the tags.
Yeah, right. I think he was wanting you to put in the title so we could be able to search for it that way easier.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. Do anybody have a quote to end it?
I have one if nobody else does.
Yeah, go ahead.
This probably would have been better for yesterday, but this is Clint Smith from Thunder Ranch. Make your attackers.
Hold on. I forgot. Today is Dragon Man's birthday. Okay.
Today is also Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
So they'll live in infamy.
Yeah, it is. Let's not forget Pearl Harbor, for sure.
Today is a day that will live in infamy.
Okay, Clint Smith.
Clint Smith of Thunder Ranch. It says, make your attackers advance through a wall of bullets. I may get killed with my own gun, but he's going to have to beat me to death with it because it's going to be empty.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.